time to film the intro. I've just filmed everything else, but now my face is done, so it's intro time. I'm doing the book makeup tag, and I'm going to be talking to you about some books that are pretty great while doing my makeup with these products I really like. And we're gonna rewind to the point where I had no makeup on and this tag was being started. I'm gonna answer these questions in a different order than they are supposed to be answered in, because I do my makeup in a different order than this. I don't start with the base, I start with the eyeshadow. So these questions, they're gonna be reversed. Hope you don't mind. I'm actually gonna start with the primer question because I use an eyeshadow primer, this Urban Decay one. I think the primer question is, what book left a lasting impression on you? And for me, that is A Monster Calls, because one, it kind of deals with a much serious topic, but also it shows the effects that stories can have and how they can help someone get through a difficult situation. So that book, and particularly the stories within the story, are ones that have really stuck with me since I read it, I think about 2 years ago. Fun fact, I trained as a makeup artist about 6 years ago, so my techniques might be a little out of date, but hopefully you don't care too much. I love doing the eyeshadow. I use the Vice Urban Decay palette, and as you can see, quite a few of them are well used. I'm gonna start with this pale gold and work my way up to like reds and purples and have kind of like a rosy gold eye. It works, I do it all the time, don't worry about it. The eyeshadow question is, what is a book with your favourite colours on the front? This is actually a really easy question because my favourite colours are purple and blue, which are on so many books. I think though my favourite is probably the Diviner's cover, particularly the edition that I have of the original first cover, which is all these blues and a silver foil on the front, and it's just absolutely stunning. I wish the rest of the series had that design. One of the most important things about doing your eyeshadow that most people seem to forget or not maybe realize is that you need to blend it out. Blending is so important and everyone just seems to kind of forget about that stuff. If you really want to blend it out, not too high, but like you want to blend. Going in with like a dark purple in the outer corner because love me my purples. You want a decent amount of dark purple there, but like not too much because you want the red to show through. Anywho, I'm going to use this big fluffy brush to blend out the dark and the red so as they kind of work together in harmony there. Go back in with some red because I love the red eyeshadow. Like, you want to be kind of careful with red eyeshadow because it can kind of look like even eye infection if you're not careful. But mix it in with some others and it looks pretty great. Also prepared to like see some really weird faces as I like try and get my mascara on and stuff. Everyone's got those faces that they pull to try and get your face in the right position to put the makeup on. What I'm going to do next is use the dark purple that I used in my outer corner with this flat brush and kind of put it under my waterline. That will frame the eye really well. Ta-da! Honestly, the pressure of doing eyeliner with the camera on is a bit much, but we'll get through it. Eyeliner I use is a gel liner from Inglot. And I like this one because it's so intensely dark and it doesn't smush, and that's why I love it. The eyeliner question is, pick a dark and mysterious book. There are a few options that I was going to go with for this, but as I was thinking about it, I decided to go with a book that I recently read, which is The Young Elites by Mary Lou, and I love this series. It's a young adult fantasy series, but what I really love about it is the protagonist, who is not your stereotypical, not like other girls protagonist. She is like a genuinely conflicted, quite a dark protagonist, and she brings the book to a place that you kind of don't expect it to go, and it's fantastic. It's a lot darker than young adult books typically are, at least in the way that the protagonist is. And it was just freaking fantastic, so you should probably read that. I was watching a few like tutorials recently and they're like, don't pull your eyelids to stretch it out because you'll get wrinkles. Trying to get a straight line without pulling your eyelid is really difficult. I have not quite mastered it yet. For the sake of getting it good for this video, I've decided to just go for it and whatever. After you check that they are relatively even, you always clean a brush that goes near your eyes or your mouth every single time. It will help it perform better and also helps it stop spreading bacteria, so I'll be back in a sec. The next step is mascara. I'm going to curl my eyelashes first, which is a step that I don't always do, but I thought, heck, we're doing a makeup video, might as well do those steps that I usually skip. The mascara that I use that I only recently got is the Urban Decay Troublemaker one, and what I like about this one is that it doesn't smush under your eyes. So the question for mascara is to choose a long book, and I was looking on my shelves before doing this tag thinking which one will I choose, because I've got 3 particularly long books on my shelf, and they're Anna Karenina, War and Peace, both by Leo Tolstoy, and The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I decided to talk about The Count of Monte Cristo just because I really, really like that book. All of the characters in it are really interesting and well developed, and it's just got this like huge revenge thing going on, and it's so great. Very different to the movie though. If you've seen the movie, good, because you can appreciate them as their own individual thing, but there is this plot twist that is not in the book that's in the movie, and it's like right up until the last page it could happen, but then it doesn't, and it kind of changes your view on a character like completely, so it's kind of an important one. But yeah, that is a pretty good long book if you want to read a classic about revenge that will keep you entertained for a few days or a few weeks. I mean, realistically it's over 1,000 pages long. Here's how it looks with the eyeliner. I think the eyeliner really brings this look together because they're quite bright colors. The base is quite pale. You really need the eyeliner to bring the colors together, and I think that's what this one does. Alright, so the foundation question, what is it? Your favorite first book in a series. I use the Urban Decay Naked foundation. I just think it's light and it has a good coverage without being heavy. So that's what I like. Plus they do one that's almost pale enough for me. Anyway, favorite first book in a series. I was going to go with Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor because it's such a great book, but because I talk about that so often, I've decided to go with The Monstrumologist by Rick Yancey, which is a young adult historical fiction, fantasy, horror blend, and it's just a really interesting series. The first book has like a lot of jump scary scenes. I don't know if a book can jump scare efficiently really, but if it could, The Monstrumologist does it pretty good. Also the characters are really fun and kind of like intense and really passionate, and it's just like, it's such a weird, gory, very gory series, and I was surprised because I didn't think I would like it because it has that kind of tone of horror to it, but it's actually kind of fantastic. So for some reason cannot watch horror movies, really enjoy horror books. Let me know if anyone else is like that. I know everyone on YouTube uses a beauty blender. I just think that uses too much product because the sponge soaks up so much product, and no matter how damp you have it, you know, put the product on as efficiently as a brush does. So I have stuck with my brushes through the beauty blender mania, and I think it works quite well so long as you make sure you blend. Also, I keep looking in the viewfinder because the mirror that I usually use to check my overall makeup when I do it is under where the camera is right now. So viewfinder, you, mirror. So the next step for me is concealer, and I use this Dermacolor camouflage cream, which is actually something that you're supposed to use for like hiding birthmarks and stuff, but they didn't have my color concealer in when I went to the shop that day, so I got this stuff, and it's quite heavy duty, so you really don't need too much of it. Anyway, the concealer question is a character you wish you could get rid of. For me, this is actually quite a hard question because, like Kat from Catty-tastic, who when she was doing the tag said she likes villains, I really enjoy villains in a story. I was thinking about this, and I think if I could get rid of a character, if you've read Wuthering Heights, you know the guy that Kathy marries when Heathcliff is gone. Mild spoiler there, only mild. I wish he was gone because he just kind of messed everything up. I mean, he's a much nicer guy, and I think he is actually a lot better for Kathy than Heathcliff is, but he just messes things up. For your eye, you really do want to be gentle. I mean, I know earlier I said I stretch it out to do my eyeliner, but I mean, don't poke yourself in the eye. You really want to touch it lightly to just blend it out. Fabulous. Powder is the next step, and I use the NYX. It's like a translucent powder, so it looks white here, goes on clear. So it's got a little bit of white to it, so if you're looking for something that's completely translucent, it might not be ideal, but works for me because I actually enjoy doing my makeup quite pale. So the powder question is pick your favorite last book in a series, and this was quite difficult for me to think of when I was looking at the questions because I generally speaking prefer first books in series. They are usually my favorite because I enjoy seeing the world set up and getting to know the characters. But then I remembered His Fair Assassins trilogy, which The last book is called Mortal Heart, and the first 2 books in that series are really great. They're really fantastic. It's a blend of historical fiction and fantasy about these assassins who are trained by like the Nuns of Death or something. And the last book in that series blew me away. It was so good, even better than the first 2 books, which were pretty great, so that's saying something. I don't use blush, so for the blush question I'm going to contour, and I actually use an eyeshadow, kind of like a taupe one from the Vice palette again. I really don't like going too heavy with it, and I just do my cheekbones and up here. And the blush question, a book with a cringe-worthy romance. The kind of obvious answer is Twilight, because oh, like no. I always give Twilight such a hard time in my videos, particularly in the video challenges for like readathons. I always give Twilight such a hard time. I actually don't hate it. I really enjoyed it when I first read it. There are obvious problems with it, but at the time I was reading it, I was looking to just be entertained, and I was. So I feel like it wasn't intended as like a role model type thing, or even something to portray a realistic working romance. It was just fluff. So if you look at it in that perspective, it does that. The next question that I'm going to answer is highlighter. And for my highlighter, I use the Urban Decay Virgin eyeshadow. And I really like this because it has a really nice shine without being overpowering, and I put it on with a fluffy brush. And I kind of just dust it under my eyebrows. I'll fix those later. Nose, tip of my nose, Cupid's bow, and cheekbones. Highlighter, a book that brightened your day. I'm gonna say Cress from the Lunar Chronicles, because Cress specifically is such a happy, upbeat character. She like always just made me smile when I would read her passages, because in comparison to like Cinder, who's more serious, and Scarlet, who's more angsty, and Winter, who's a bit less there, Cress just has this like really uplifting feel to her, and for that reason, Cress by Marissa Meyer brightens my day. Eyebrows, a book that you think everyone should read. Again, I'm just going to use an eyeshadow from the Vice palette, and I use a dark eyeshadow to do my eyebrows as opposed to an eyebrow pencil, because I feel like an eyebrow pencil kind of just puts the product on the hairs that are there as opposed to like filling in where it needs to be filled in. So a book that I think everyone should read. I feel like Harry Potter should be in here somewhere, because even if you're not into fantasy, even if you're not like super into witches and wizards and magic and all that jazz, it has a lot of other elements that are really important to read about. It's got like good friendships, and it's got really good moral decision making and other things like that. So for eyebrows, I generally speaking just stick with the shape that I have. I don't try and shape them too much or anything. I fill them in, I brush them smooth. I'm pretty sure the last question is lipstick, and I'm gonna answer this before I do my lips, because talking and doing your lips gonna be really hard. Your favorite book kiss. For this, for me, I think I'm going to go to the Black Magician trilogy and say the kiss at the end of the High Lord. And I cannot tell you who it is between, because that would be a huge spoiler, but specifically that one. So I'm going to line my lips with the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner, and then I'm going to use the Melted Chocolate by Too Faced in the shade Chocolate Cherries. This tastes like chocolate. This is amazing. I just got this. Just such a beautiful color, and it's so nice to wear. It's not drying at all. Maybe I should have gone for red. I usually go for red, but I just really wanted to put this on because it tastes so good. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how I do my makeup. I mean, maybe you found it kind of boring, in which case, thanks for sticking around. This is the finished look. I'm not sure who created this tag, because I think the original tag disappeared offline, and it wasn't tagged by anybody either. I just wanted to do my makeup on camera. I wanted to see how it would turn out. I've been thinking about doing a tutorial for a while, not because anyone has asked, but just because I like doing my makeup and I wanted to show you guys. Kind of wish I had my hair done fancier than this. Let me know in the comments below if you use any of these products and how you find them. I don't want any of you coming at me being like, oh, you said you trained as a makeup artist, but you did this wrong. There is no right and wrong. There is only what works for you. If you find a technique that works better for you, then by all means go for it. This is just how I do my face. It's not even necessarily how I would do someone else's face if I was doing their face. This is just what I like. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. That's all I have for you for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye!